Alright. Hello everyone, it's me, Generic Pie, back with another video for you today. Really excited to share this one. It's a game I played yesterday against Waldo, and it's a beast of a game. A lot of really unique stuff happened in it. A game unlike probably any of the other games that I've shared, at least games that I've played on this channel. So yeah, really excited to bring it to you today. Waldo was a really fun opponent to play against. I never played them before, but they were a great sport. Really some good funny stuff in the chat. And without any further ado, let's dive into it because I don't want this video to be 2 hours long. So this game, we went good old-fashioned vanilla. None of those pesky dwarven rings of tokens. None of that nonsense. We just rolled for sides, and I was a shadow. And Waldo was playing as the free people. I'm going to have to resist not making any "Where's Waldo" jokes in this video. So we roll, and Waldo gets this roll, and then Waldo says, "Why does this game do this to me?" Because when the game gives you that roll, you have a decision to make. Are you gonna go big or are you gonna go home? And in this case, Strider decides he's going to go home. And Waldo actually says, let's do it for the channel. So thank you, Waldo. You've created some excellent entertainment, hopefully, in the form of this video. So Strider, Legolas, and Boromir make their merry way to Moria. Nice little trio there. I decide to draw cards. What did I have? So yeah, I didn't really go over the cards here. So lovely draws, really. For the free people there. Get some nice protection for the Fellowship. Celeburn's is an awesome card to start early. I had Shelob's Lair and the Shadows moving, so I could have played Shelob with this Palantir, but I was kind of hoping, like, I feel like the early card draws for Shadow can be really important. You can just kind of just lob the red tile in there, but getting like an early Orcs multiplying again, or Pits of Mordor, or something like that, can define your entire game plan and really affect how the game goes. So I think I decided to go for the extra draw there. Got Stormcrow, which the Great Host is handy, and Stormcrow can be handy in the early game especially. So these guys head down here. Legolas pops into Lorien. I get Sauron down. So this is another decision here. In this type of game, I think in most games what I would tend to do is play it relatively safe, and I would get Isengard to war with the idea of thinking I only need one must the next turn to guarantee that I get a minion. In a game like this, where I see that, I know that Minas Tirith is going to be having a lot of stuff going on. There's going to be a lot of mustering going on there. I'm thinking, okay, I haven't got much in the way of attacks. Let's send this army up here and start moving this army here to go for Gondor and put pressure on this, because I don't want this to get out of hand. It would be nice to take away that extra die that they're going to get and just generally put pressure on Gondor rather than trying to do the kind of Dewline, Lorien kind of pincer movement, which is a bit more of the meta play. So yeah, these guys go in, start marching these guys up to Woodland Realm. They naturally crown Aragorn. These guys go here and these guys go here. So yeah, the other positive of that is they can't get anyone into Woodland Realm. Sorry, Old Forest Road to block because they're committed to the Aragorn plan. The north is flipped. I have a think. I decided not to attack Woodland Realm just yet because I might want to try and... Because the other benefit of doing this early Sauron play is that I could next turn potentially get the Witch King by going for the north. So that's another positive of that. So they draw into Kindred of Glorfindel and the Grey Company. So that's pretty sweet, given what you've just done. You know, Grey Company is probably one of the most discarded cards in the deck for the Shadow. Sorry, for the Free People. But if you do so happen to have Strider in a Free People's army, as they do, then you can get two. You can just start smashing through those early strategy event cards and do some mustering in the process. So that's an amazing draw for them. Meanwhile, I do draw Pits of Mordor, so now this army has gone up, but still good draw. Another red tile. Right, and they get another super movement heavy turn. This is kind of, do you really want that as the free people after you've just done what you've just done? You do obviously want to get the Fellowship moving, but when you've kind of done this, you want some mustering, really. You want to start getting Gondor. I guess you can use some of the seas to get Gondor to war, but not really an ideal role for the free people at the moment, I don't think. Mine's good role. Yeah, lol from Waldo. But they can use one of the seas to play Great Company, so that, I mean, yeah, that's awesome. They draw into the Powhatan Bombadil and Faramir's Rangers. God, what timing. But having said that, if you're going through the deck at this pace, improves the chance of getting a draw like that. I get Isengard to war. So the one really nice thing about this role is not only can I can actually get 2 minions, and I can get so 2 attacks, get the North to war, and then use these 2 musters to get both minions. So that's pretty dreamy for the Shadow. Not the fastest military by any means, but I can really get the dice coming in early. Meanwhile, so I'm not having 5 against 7 dice for too long. The Fellowship moves, they're hit, that's unlucky, and it's a 3. And I say to Waldo, kind of good and bad that. In a normal game, amazing. This game, not so much. So yeah, obviously, normally in the typical game, if you get an early 3 tile, preferably on step 2 rather than on step 1, to kill Gandalf, that's awesome. Dream scenario. You kill the wizard, get a 3 tile out of the pool, and you can then bring them back with the next Will of the West. In a game like this, where you've already evacuated Strider, it's really not great, because it's still, it's better than most tiles, but you kind of want Gandhi to last a bit longer. You kind of want that meat shield to and also that card drawing ability to last a bit longer. Maybe see you through Moria. So to lose Gandalf after literally just 1 move against 2 eyes is quite painful, I think. I go for Carrick. They play advantageous position. I get my hit. They don't, so that went well for the Shadow. They move Gondor down using one of the seed dice. They've probably got too many seed dice here, but at least they can make good use of them. I attack Dale. Quite concerned about a scouts here, given how many of the cards they've been through. Thankfully, they don't have a scouts. I decide to play. Because of that, I can't remember if I go for the Great Host or the Swarm of Bats. I go for the Swarm of Bats just in case they have scouts. Because it's really painful to lose a Great Host to a scouts. So yeah, I think that was the right play. I rolled a 6 anyway, so it worked out pretty awesome. And yeah, so nice little start. The Shadow and the combat die. The dice in general, pretty kind start for me. +2 on 6s. Gondor goes all the way to war. Don't like to see that. And I start getting my minions. They play Axe and Bow. I get the Witch King as well. So very early Witch King and Saruman, given I only got a single muster in the first turn. We go on to turn 3. They draw into Gwaihir and Through a Day and Night. I draw into Cruel Weather, great draw, and Monsters Roused. So decent card draws overall. Cruel Weather, bit early, but potentially, can maybe be used to get them back into Moria. Probably not going to wait until they get all the way to Mordor, given how they're going to go quite slowly this game. Probably want to just play it at some point earlier. I get this pretty not ideal roll. The free people definitely don't get an ideal roll either. Palantirs all over the shop here. So I felt like this could be a long one. Definitely has the feel of it being a long one. The good thing about having Palantirs in this situation is I do have some good playable cards. I can start lobbing in these red tiles I do want to play at some point. I don't want them just like clogging up my hand. They're really useful to get in the pool at some point or other. So this is the perfect time to do that. I lob 2 red tiles in a row. Waldo says, oh. They then play Celeborn. So at this point, I mean, for obvious reasons, not thinking about going Lorien anymore. The worlds are nowhere near war, but equally, like 3 elites and a companion makes Lorien not a very tasty morsel of a target for the Shadow. I then play Pits of Mordor. I think part of the reason I played that was because of this play. I needed to play cards anyway with all these Palantirs, and I'm going for Dewline, so it made sense to get some dudes here. But when there's a big Lorien army, Aragorn's on the board, like free people military stuff is definitely in the back of my mind as a Shadow player. You need to be quite cautious in these types of games. And just having a little buffer of a few guys in all of these strongholds makes me feel a little bit safer, because the elves will get to war at some point, and I don't want this army just getting a free stronghold or a cheap stronghold. They move again. They're also hit again. So this is a really rough hunt. It's no actual corruption, but they're revealed, so it's going to slow them down. So not ideal. Certainly not ideal. Now I make my foray into the realm of Minas Tirith, or towards Gondor at least, and also start raiding the Southrons. I'm not really thinking about Dol Amroth. I'm probably thinking about sending these guys up here to back up this army. I don't think this army is going to be enough to take this, and I'm going to need some hefty backup, especially because they then play Faramis. So yeah, the backup is very urgently needed now. Luckily, they don't hit me, but they do get an awesome little muster in Osgiliath. Then they draw into the Shadow Lengthens. Nice. Or I draw into the Shadow Lengthens, which is always nice. I do have some good uses for that at the moment. They flip the Fellowship. I attacked Osgiliath. I played Great Host. I know I'm a bit of a risk here again, given they could still have. Trying to think, have they done a draw since I attacked it? Yes, they have. So they could have had scouts at this point. But I do want to. I'm going to have to play some cards against these armies at some point. And if I can make it so they have fewer, forces, the better. I get basically a free hit is really handy. I roll like trash. They roll like trash, but I get my free hit. So that's something. I press. They pop into Minas Tirith, making this army strong, and they muster to make it stronger. So yes, not nice scenes. And here I say, now do I just mindlessly throw orcs at you, or let you get even bigger and then mindlessly throw orcs at you? So in these situations, like, it's a bit of a balancing act, because this army is obviously way better than this army. And in normal circumstances, I think, you probably don't attack this. You wait to get reinforcements. You would wait to get leadership. However, he's going to have the first action next turn. Going to use a muster. There's going to be 5 elites in there next turn. I also ultimately just want to get the I want to diminish the size of the Gondor force pool. So as the Shadow, I obviously have the benefit of being able to muster infinitely. The Free People do not. And I just want to mash, get these guys into the meat grinder and just hurt the Free People as much as possible. He's going to do a field battle here. So I've got a chance of at least getting a few hits. Then I can use Shadow Lengthens to get these guys up once, and get them involved once the Southrons are at war. I can also potentially use Shadow Lengthens to get these guys involved, or just, by marching them. So I decide to have a bash, as I say. Go for Minas Tirith. They decide to fight. I decide to play a card. What do I go for here? Can't remember. Desperate Battle against Advantageous Position. So really nice card play by Waldo. Bit of a risk there by me. I mean, there's so many nice cards the Free People could play in this situation. I could play Anduril, could play any of the kind of awesome character cards that help in combat. So yeah, not really surprising. And this extra hurts a lot more because I don't have much in the way of leadership. So I'm effectively only getting two dice that are benefiting from Desperate, and they're getting 10 dice that are benefiting from Desperate Battle. So I get my 1 hit, they get 4 hits. So yeah, really not good. I'm not like, I mean, I obviously wanted that to go better, but I'm aware that, like, this is just going to be the case. If I'm going to be attacking this army, there's going to be rounds where I'm going to get beaten up. And you just got to accept that and not be too afraid to keep attacking, because you don't want this to just get out of hand and, be in a position where they can actually make a foray into Mordor and actually, make military a genuine threat for the Free People. We go on to turn number 4, Return of the Witch King. So that's really handy. Get another red tile. So real heavy on the red tiles here. They draw into Path of the Woses and Mirror of Galadriel. And they said, yeah, I was complimenting them on the card play there. They said felt at the right time. Yeah, using Advantageous in a field battle is just a dream. As the Free People, really, that's when it's most effective. So naturally they do some mustering. They decide to get 1 in Dol Amroth. Do they have many elites there? I guess they're thinking, They want to keep some kind of reserves in case they need to defend Olameth at some point. This army's already pretty big. Maybe I would have just gone for the elite and just gone all hard, like hard in on Minas Tirith. But I can see the logic there. I start getting the South ones down. Need to get them involved. The Fellowship moves. They're missed for once. The South ones go all the way to war. Gandalf comes in. I then play the Shadow Lengthens. So not super efficient, still leaves a force here, but this army I can then use to take Pelargir later. So it's not too bad. It's still handy, and I need to just get this going. I need to get this going. I need to get some leadership there. Also means I can get this army up to North Rune and start backing up this army to then take over the Dew Line. Then now they get the elite in, so they just did it a different way around, so that's fine. I need the leadership. I also use this opportunity to get a Nazgul on the Fellowship. I attack Minas Tirith. All right, here we go. Let's go, people. Fight, obviously. I play, presumably, Swarm of Bats here. Oh, okay, when I said a useful card earlier, I think I was thinking of, what's it called? The Minas Morgul mustering card, the one about when Aragorn's in play. So yeah, this is obviously Return the Witch King as a card effect is significantly less useful, but Swarm of Bats is good. So this is actually really handy. So basically what happens here is the Swarm of Bats, when this happens, I've seen it happen quite a few times, it benefits the Shadow more than it benefits the free people. So as the defending, this card plays first, which means that the free people effectively abandon all of their companion leadership. So I get much more of a benefit than the free people do. So we chat about that, we check. So I roll 3 hits, which is solid, really good, really happy with that. They get 2 hits. I remind Waldo that they should have 2 non-companion leadership rolls, so he gets another hit, so 3 each. So that's okay, good, still pretty big army here. I draw into Deadly Strife. Obviously, there's a chance that they could have, you know, like a Daylight or something that really hurts Deadly Strife. But I think right now, I got a Deadly Strife when you're rolling on 5s is awesome. It's super good. So I think let's just go for it. Let's go for it. Let's do the strifing, baby. They have a Sudden Strike, which thankfully, very thankfully, whiffs. Could have been very different if that had not whiffed. I get... I forgot, I'm used to 99% of the time you use Deadly Strife as a Shadow. You're rolling against on 6s, so I was thinking of 4s. Because I'm actually rolling on 3s, I get 4 hits, and they get 5 back. So yeah, so... Wait, that's only 3. Was only 3. Anyway, whatever. It's happened. Maybe it was 4 and I'm just not paying attention. I say it's been a pretty crazy start to the game. We've had the Witch King facing off against Aragorn in like an absolutely full-blooded assault on like turn 4 and turn 3. So I think it started in turn 3. Anyway, I decide I'm not going to push my luck. I could attack here again, but when I've only got 5 HP and they've got 6 HP and they've got 5 leaders, like this is death to Witch King territory. Maybe they would go into a siege, but I don't want to risk it. Especially they've got a Confusion up their sleeve. They've got another advantageous position, and they've got Heroic Death if they wanted to risk. You know, I think if I was them and there was another fight, I'd probably play Heroic Death and try and kill Boromir. And then that puts me in a very sticky position if they get like 4 hits or something. Yeah, so I decide. And Waldo says for the channel, and I scream for the channel. So yeah, funny how weirdly by being someone who makes videos, it makes people do more aggressive plays in their games because they're thinking maybe there'll be a video about it. It's just I think this is the first time this has happened, but it's quite funny. So if I can take my casualties a bit differently, Waldo says no, which is fair enough. So we carry on. Now I start getting these guys up here to get reinforcements. So I'm planning to take Pelargir and then reinforce here. Then they draw into a card. They draw Riders of Theoden. I played the third ring tile of the game in, I think, 4 character cards. I've had 3 ring tiles and cruel weather, so sorry, red tiles. Pretty insane. Let's go on to turn 5. I now draw the Breaking the Fellowship and Threats and Promises, and they draw a Power 2 Great and House of the Stewards. So another super cool card if you want to get even more strategy. I mean, look how many strategy cards the 3 people have seen on turn 5. That's nuts. And now they've got another chance to get even more. Power 2 Great, not really the type of game where you think, obviously a Power 2 Great is always amazing, but maybe this will be used for a no quarter, given the game state. They get another very aggressive dice roll for anything military related. They decide to move the Fellowship again. My Nazgul does his job. Thank you, Mr. Nazgul. I love to see that. Doesn't happen too often, but when it does, it's really, really satisfying. So I say good Nazgul. And it's a reveal, which is great. So they reveal on the other side of Dimwell Dale, take their corruption, and then get 1 from Moria. They eat that as well. I think that's the right play. Now I play Breaking. So like at this point in the game, the Fellowship has 4 HP. They're on 2 corruptions. They're on -2 net corruption overall. And they don't have Strider's ability. They don't have any Gandalf Meat Shield. And the game looks like it's going to be a slow one. I don't have much in the way of military. So I'm thinking I'm going to kind of not pivot to full hard corruption and start lobbing loads of eyes in the box. But I'm going to start cycling character cards to just pummel the Fellowship as much as I can and make it so they basically can't. And ideally, also, my plan is also to really shrink the pool. Even if I throw like Orc Patrol and Isildur's Bane and these types of cards at the Fellowship, and I draw eyes, it's not even that bad because I'm shrinking the pool so that if I can get enough tile draws before they get to Mordor, I've got 3 red tiles in there already. So I'm thinking, I've had this done against me many, many times. I seem to have lots of corruption games as the 3 people, games where, the shadow military collapses and they have to I had to go super slow and they go hardcore corruption on me. So I'd have very few games on this side. So it's quite, but I've learnt the effectiveness of that strategy basically. So I decided to go pretty hard on it and continue go slightly slow on the military, but make a concerted effort to pummel the Fellowship with cards, a bit like in Loam when you have the chief, except without the chief, just drawing cards with the Witch King. So they draw the 1. They see if they can actually use the axe and bow on the 1 for breaking, but you can't because it's technically not corruption. So they kill one of the hobbits, who then pops into Lorien, making Lorien even less of a pleasant target. They then play Riders of Theoden to buff up Edoras even more. So the Rohan's looking quite nasty. It's like Patagia from the south. What have I got cards-wise, by the way? Okay, cool. Don't hit. They don't hit either. They pop into Lossenac. They muster in Lossenac. That's annoying. I combine in Osgiliath and also move up to here. So this is actually really important. So that move by Waldo, I think, was a big mistake because this is when you need to evacuate Aragorn, or you have to accept that you're going to give up Minas Tirith. Because if Aragorn gets trapped in there, he's dead. Might take a while, but he's going to die, and that's big. I then make an even bigger error by not attacking Minas Tirith straight away. Sometimes this happens in these games. As someone who makes videos about their own play, you realize how much dumb stuff you do. And I do think I learned from it. But sometimes you just get in your own head. In this case, I was thinking, oh, I don't want them to play, what's it called? The kind of like siege breaking card. I always forget what it's called. So I think I'm going to have to deal with these schmucks at some point. So is it help unlooked for? Yeah. So I'll attack them first, get it out of the way, and then I'll go for Minas Tirith afterwards. No, man, no. I think maybe I was thinking, oh, if I go here, then I attack them, and then they scouts here, then they can run over here and be annoying. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You've got loads of forces in Mordor. Trapping Aragorn, priority number 1, and priority number 2, and priority number 3. What are you doing? I'm an idiot. Go for Lossenac, no card. Get the hits I need. They get 1 back. And then to compound it, I don't even put a guy in here because I'm thinking, I need all the guys to then go into Minas Tirith so that I can nicely take down Aragorn. So, like, super dumb. That gives them the license to then put more guys in here later to annoy me. So, like, 2 really dumb plays in the space of, like, 5 seconds. Then, of course, Waldo runs Aragorn away. So, yeah, I think that was 2 big misplays on both of our parts. But I've come off by far the worst because Waldo gets another bite at the cherry, as they say, and can now run Aragorn into Eastern Met. And also, Gandalf then scampers away over here, which tells me, basically telegraphs that they have Book of Mizarble, because there's no reason to send Gandalf here at all unless they have Book of Mizarble, basically. So, I say interesting. And off the back of that, I immediately, I say should have probably trapped him in when I had the chance. They said they were literally double clicking to go into the siege. So yeah, big mistake, and makes for a much better game, much better game. But yeah, that one comes back to bite me big time. I combine the armies here and here. I kind of want to get this army ready to go into Erebor. The second they get the dwarves to war using Mizarble, I want to be able to get them under siege. I think part of the reason they don't do that now is for that precise reason, because they know that I have this dice to get them under siege. So instead, they decide to flip the Fellowship. And now I attack Minas Tirith, get them under siege, but I've missed my beautiful window of opportunity. So that's bad. They then draw into Athelas and Fear Fire Foe. So that would have been very sad if well, having said that, imagine if they had him in this fight trapped. That would have been very handy. Fear Fire Foes is now being used for a shield wall because the North are already at war. I draw into Corsairs. Great draw. Had a very decent card draw so far. But with no South runs here at all, is it going to be played for its card effect? I also get Orc Patrol, which is the kind of card I'm looking for to hurt the Fellowship. They then play Brave Stand. Get to super cycle cards. Only downside here is they're going to be overdrawn, and they have quite a strong hand. So, is there an argument for waiting until late to do that? Don't know. I mean, I guess with the Caps on the West, you already have 5 attacks. But equally, if I got really lucky and just took this down in one go, you wouldn't be able to use it. So, they do get help on look for. Okay, so that's what I was concerned about. Wisdom of Elrond, they kill Wisdom of Elrond, lose a confusion. See, that's quite painful. I then draw a card, and I draw into Shadow's Gather, which is a really nice card draw, because I am going to need reinforcements here. Fellowship moves, they're missed. I then play my Orc Patrol. I really want to get a reveal here, because I suspect that the 3 people are planning on sending the Fellowship into Lorien to heal, because things are looking so bad for them on a Fellowship's standpoint, that if I could reveal them in, say Path Celebrant or whatever, they're going to have to go backwards if they want to go to Lorien to heal. Another benefit of going from Minas Tirith in these types of games is it takes away the healing point here as well, which is could be really key. I get a 2, which is nice, but does mean they can go and heal if they want to. They then do the mustering and get a lead here. So yeah, I should have just, if I was going to do that misplay, don't double down on your dumbness by not putting a guy there. Because this army is going to need to be reinforced anyway. So yeah, that was just bad play by me. Adding it to the list. I'm making a big list of all the things. Every game I play, I have like a little note thing in my phone, and I take notes of like things that have lost me games or mistakes I made in War of the Ring. And one day I'm going to make like a super video of all the mistakes as kind of like a tutorial guide for newer players. So yeah, that will be added to the list. Okay, so I play Words of Power, A to cycle cards, and B, because it is quite handy, it cancels Boromir's leadership and any cards that he might use with him. I get 2 hits, which is solid. They get 4 hits because of no quarter, which is also solid. Always feels good though when you see them get down to no elites in a stronghold. Feels like they're weak. They're ripe for the destruction. So that was good. But still, some serious work to do for the shadow nonetheless. I get my guys ready. They start getting Rohan down. Downside of a game like this, where you're going very slow, is the fact that the free people have all the time in the world to get all the nations to war and to start mustering. Especially when they have 6 dice. That 6th die is huge when it comes to military stuff. I play Shadows Gather to neatly get this army in here, which can I can then march up here. I could have done it straight to Minas Tirith, but I want to get all the boys in the vicinity. So by sending, I can get 8 here or 5 here. I figured numbers were more important, so I got the hold. It's a bit slower, but I think in the long run, it's worth it. And I can leave some here to, potentially then send to Dol Amroth later, maybe combine with the Corsairs to get the victory points there. I decide here a bit of I don't normally do this, using a hybrid to get to muster Nazgul. Why did I decide to do this? I think it might have been so I had extra dice with this to spread my leadership a bit more, spread my my Nazgul a bit more thinly. In this type of game, when it's long, you kind of want more leadership in general anyway, so it's something I probably want to do at some point, and I am thinking about a bit of a kind of semi-corruption strat. They get the elves down. Again, they can do this using a bloody sea die, which is super handy for them, using Legolas. Yeah, and this I want to be able to use character dice if necessary to use this army. I want to be able to use character dice to use. So if I roll a bunch of characters, I can actually use these armies. Part of my plan was originally to do like 3 here, but I realized that I think it's very likely the fact that they didn't move more than once against one eye. I'm thinking they're probably going to Lorien, so I won't waste my Nazgul and putting them on like doing a little triangle, because that's 3 Nazgul that I think are probably going to be completely redundant. And I draw into Half-Orcs, Golemen, and Lord of the Ring. They draw Kieran ships, which is very handy. And the Eagles are coming. What do they get rid of? They get rid of Athelas. Okay. Tricky one, because on the one hand, it's not getting used anytime soon. But when you do have Aragorn on the board, it's literally the strongest combat card in the entire game. At least, I think it probably is, right? It's for pound, 2 free hits guaranteed, without giving any benefit to your opponent. So yeah, I don't know what you get rid of. Almost too many good cards. One crucial thing that I didn't notice is they have discarded Path of the Woses. They play Path of the Woses to use a sudden strike. This will come back in the game. I didn't notice that. And I didn't check. So yeah, that's quite big. So yeah, I get this pretty horrendous roll. Let's have a look at the dice. So now I'm +3 on Palantirs, +2 on characters. Very just generally quite down on non-character attacks and musters. They are very heavily up on Cs. And I think in a normal game that could have hurt them in this type of game, but because they've used those Cs to play some awesome cards and get the elves and the Gondorians to war, so those Cs have been more useful than they normally would have been in this type of game. They then play Mirror of Galadriel, which very, very rarely actually gets to use its additional card effect of healing the Fellowship because they're in Lorien, so that's amazing. So yeah, really, really rare treat there for the Fellowship. I have all these musters. This is as good a time as any as to get Orthanc mustered. I mean, this serves 2 purposes. It puts threat on Rohan, and B, Rohan are quite near war. It's not unthinkable, if I have another apocalyptic turn like this, and I only have the basic armies there, that, couple event cards, they charge in, and then I've lost the dice and I've lost Orthanc. So it's a good at some. I've seen that happen in a few games. It's good at some point just to get a couple of musters in here to make this very strong, and it also means that the free people have to be wary of protecting Helm's Deep as well, which they are. This guy, annoying bastard that he is, starts marching towards Mordor. I do another muster in Isengard. They do some army movements. So this guy goes from Fords to Western Met. And this guy goes up here. It forces me to use my final remaining muster to do a couple of musterages. The elves start going down even further. I could have waited. Maybe this is a misplay. I could have maybe waited to force them to get the elves to war themselves. But there's a chance, like then if I use this die on something else, then they use the final die of the turn to get the elves to war. Then they muster in Woodland Realm. So yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe I should have waited until the end of the turn to do that. Just been a little bit more patient. But it had to be done at some point, I guess. Yeah, probably a little bit impatient there. They then move the Fellowship. It will hit again, draw an eye. So yeah, not a long stay in Lorient. They get flipped in path. And maybe this is why, actually. Okay, I think this is why I did it in the order that I did, is because it meant that I could play Palantir after they'd used the will. I think they might have used the will to get rid of Palantir straight away. And now they need to use a ring, which gives me at the very least a free card play. They then play Book. So they were probably waiting, quite very smart play from Waldo, waiting until I go for Woodland Realm to then get the Dwarves to war. I was aware that this was always lingering, but I think it's either let the Dwarves muster or let the Elves muster. Maybe, and the Elves are easier to take. It's a cheaper stronghold to take. Erebor, even with this size army, can easily go wrong. So I think that's why, when push came to shove, I decided to prioritize going for Woodland Realm. I've got the cards to take it down. Do I have the cards to take it down? Yeah, I've got enough cards to take that down. So I figure, get the cheap Woodland Realm and then let the Dwarves muster. And it's gonna be a slow grindy kind of game. I've got time, but yeah. So yeah, good play. Yeah, I say yeah. I knew you had it, but stuck between a rock and a hard place. Yeah, I think stand by that. But now I can make the most of the Palantir, so I get my nice little elite extra bit of leadership up in Woodland Realm, which is good. And then I draw into a character card, Foul Thing from the Deep, baby. Foul Thing from the Deep, just what we're looking for. So we're turn 7, and I'm already almost halfway through both decks. The Fellowship, so the Freebie have also heavily into their decks. Draw into Morgul Wound and Many Kings, the Service of Mordor. They draw into Spirit of Mordor, and they're back again. All right, so another, God, my rolls have not been good. Rolls have not been good. Much better roll for the free people. Although having said that, 3 characters against 3 eyes isn't great. They flip, which is nice because I want them to be flipped to play Foul Thing in case I reveal them. I draw 3. Pretty good. Kills Gimli, takes 1. And then I forget to draw my card. They let me do it, thankfully. And then I draw into Isildur's Bane. So I've had a good run of Attack the Fellowship cards here. Halfway through the deck, so it's not hugely unreasonable. But to get, I think I've had Orc Patrol, Isildur's, and Foul Thing, and Breaking. So yeah, definitely more than you would expect to have at the halfway point of the deck. So yeah, Isildur's Bane, it's great timing. They're still unrevealed. Let's keep the Palantir train going, baby. Play Isildur's Bane. Then I get a 3. So this is really lucky. I think there's no denying big corruption luck for the shadow in this game. The fact that I haven't had a single eye drawn on any of those tiles. I think I've played 4 cards and they've gone through Mordor. So that's 5 instances where there's chance for a dud eye. As per my earlier logic, eyes aren't the end of the world because the pool is getting very small. But in terms of, hurting the Fellowship and debilitating the Fellowship, it's pretty huge. And a 3 Isildur's Bane is, really crippling for the Fellowship in any situation. So extremely lucky for me. Then I draw into Musterlings of a Long Plan War. They then get rid of the Palantir. Yes, the Palantir has more than done its job. Very, very powerful in its brief. Yeah, and they say big mistake. So I think that probably was a. I think with Palantir, um, I don't know how it works with Java. Maybe I would have drawn those cards anyway at some point. I don't know, how the algorithm works. But either way, they gave me the chance to get like 2 or 3 pretty cheap draws there. So that's very nice for me. I then attack Willem Realm. I think this is a mistake. I think here I should have played Delria Vorthank because in a game like this, where it's a slog and you're going to need lots of mustering, cards like Many Kings are even more valuable than usual. I've got Corsairs, so getting 4 guys here, even 6 guys here, could have been really handy. I'm going to need reinforcements up here, so Great Host is good, but I had Devilry and Threats and Promises is rubbish. So I think that was a mistake. Should have used a different card there. And again, it's irrelevant because I just rolled a bunch of 6s anyway. So that's, again, so yeah, things are definitely going the way of the shadow right now. They move the Fellowship. They're missed for once. I start moving this army up here. I leave 4 behind because there's no point in sending too many. I consider moving this army across here, and then I ultimately decide to do that. And my thinking here is that I don't want this army getting too big, attacking into Dale, and then making use of the Northern Force pool. So at least if I hold this with a decent-sized army, attacking into it is a risk for the free people, If they attack into it and it goes badly, it gives me a cheap error ball, and then the Dew line is mine. I've also got a reasonable-sized army here, so they could come and take it, but they're going to have to fight. And they're going to have to leave Erebor pretty naked as well. So I think there was a good logic there. They play Spirit of Mordor. Is this a proper? This is a proper rainbow of evilness. They get 2 hits, which is good for Spirit. I muster in Moria. I think I just had this muster. Didn't really know what to do with it. I'm thinking this army's quite big. The elves are at war now. Just want to make sure this is safe. And I'm also kind of thinking, where am I going to get my remaining victory points? Rivendell is a potential target in the long run. So that could be, plan. It's kind of doing 2 things at once. Gandalf decides to come home, or halfway home. I draw a card and draw into fighting Uruk-hai. So not really particularly useful in this game. Don't think I'm going to be putting anything under siege here, and long way away from putting Erebor under siege as well. They draw into guards and elven cloaks. So what's the force pool like? Okay, so you'd literally just be mustering a leader with that one. Then I draw into Orcs multiplying again and lots of Crebain. I think I'd get rid of Fighting Uruk-hai because it just doesn't feel like a Fighting Uruk-hai game. Maybe Threats and Promises. They get rid of guards. I get rid of Threats and Promises. And Fighting Uruk-hai. Yeah, that was my thinking. Because Orcs multiplying again at least has the mustering with the onslaught. Yeah, it just didn't feel like an Uruk-hai kind of game. They roll this, I roll this. So a bit more of a... still rolling lots of eyes, which is good and bad. They start mustering the elves, sorry, the dwarves. It's good. What did I do there? Okay, buffed up Minas Tirith, and got some more leadership in Dale to protect it. Okay, so then they play the Eagles Are Coming, which is really annoying. They kill one of my precious Nazgai. But the Witch King gets to stay at least. So that I had to bring them back again, slightly realign. But the benefit of that is I do get to get one little guy onto the Fellowship. They draw into Thranduil's Archers. Little bit too late to actually muster in there. I then attack Minas Tirith. Let's kill Boromir for good. Should have been Aragorn. What cards have I got? What would you play here? Maybe a Desperate Battle to start off with, perhaps? Yeah, Desperate Battle versus Brave Stand. I get 3 hits, which is solid. They get 4 hits, which is very solid. I decide to press draw because it's only a 6 versus 2 at this point. Druid's Olokai. I play a character card here, interestingly. Not sure what I would have gone for. It would have to be Phlox, I think. So yeah, they are terrible versus Confusion. Okay, Another instance, okay, roll good, get my hits. This is also key to the game. I didn't notice that they played through day and night. So in a game like this, because these games are quite rare, you don't often have games like this. I'm not so, it's again, adding to the list of mistakes, being aware of what cards have been played. Remember, people, there is a discarded cards tab here. I did not remember that. I think I did. I checked. There was one point when I checked it, and I actually looked for through day and night. But by that point, we were like 2 or 3 hours into the game, and I must have just missed it. So I thought everything I do from now on is thinking past of the woes is still in the game, and through day and night is still in the game, because it definitely affects my playstyle quite a lot in this game. They do more mustering here and in Iron Hills, just to get a leader. Okay, yeah, fair enough. I then play Olokai to buff this up because this army is big. I need to be able to fight back against it, or at least hold my own. They put a blue tile in, counter my 3 red tiles. Here, I think this is kind of a little bit risky, but I think I want to get the mouth. So I'm just going to do a cheap little attack and force advisor, and don't care if I hit or not, just want to get the Rohan to war. Does mean that they get a cheap army activation and can start making this this entire force pool an issue, and it's a very big force pool. Yeah, we don't like that. Roll badly, they roll badly. It's kind of a theme in this game, and the Rohan's at war. But and then they move the Fellowship. They hit again. Another 0 reveal. So look at this pool, teeny tiny pool, absolutely minuscule pool. So as things stand, there's going to be 3 red tiles going into a tiny pool, 1 blue tile. Yeah, and that's something I was acutely aware of, because small pool plus red tiles is hell, absolute hell for the Fellowship. So I was kind of thinking, this gives me extra. I'm just thinking I've got all the time in the world, because even if the Fellowship does get to Mordor, they're going to bleed out, given how high they are on the track. So yeah, that also dictates my play somewhat, makes me go, because in these types of games, usually the reason the Shadow loses is because the free people on 6 dice pivots to military, and the Shadow forces are too dispersed that you can just make 2 kind of like blitzkrieg attacks into weaker strongholds, and there's not enough defense there. And if, with cards like Through a Day and Night, like Anduril, like Path of the Woses, it can give and along with all just the other strong offensive cards for the free people, they can really catch the Shadow by surprise. So I was trying to make sure that didn't happen by being quite cautious, taking my time. I bring in the mouth, decide to take them here so they can go up here, to support here if need be. They then draw into Grimbeorn and an end card. And I say luck has definitely played a part. They were saying they were trying to. What did Waldo say? It was quite funny. I tried the Ira thing, not very good at it. So they went for the Ira strat, which can go either way, to any of us. And I said that I've had a lot of luck, but I mean I've had 3 eyes most turns, so I'm not actually that high on eyes. The eyes have come up kind of, but I'm very high on Palantirs, I'm very high on seas, and I have had a few turns. The eyes have kind of been feast and famine, so I've had a few turns where I've had all the eyes and all the Palantirs, all at once. So I've had a few, I wouldn't say apocalyptic turns, but turns where not much happening. But the hunt's been wild, yeah. Talking of apocalyptic turns, at least I can muster. That's all I'll say. So nice offensive turn for the free people. They can do a lot with this turn, depending on what they want to do. They do some mustering in Erebor and in Dol Amroth, making sure Dol Amroth is nice and got lots of leadership there. Use this chance to play Morgul Wound to keep the pressure on the Fellowship. They flip. I then start mustering elites here. I'm wary of this being a problem. They then play Kid and Ships, which gets the alarm bells ringing, because previously I was thinking, this army is just 5 versus 4. It's not a threat, but now it's 9, and with 2 leadership, suddenly this is under threat somewhat. You know, maybe they can take Minas Tirith, and I need to suddenly, and also I don't have any bloody army movements, so looking quite precarious here. Not great. So I decided to start mustering Oliphants here as well, because I know this is coming, which it is. They do. What do they do? Okay, they move the little reg up here. I muster again here. And with their final two moves, they make a very interesting play and decide to try and retake Woodland Realm. So what they can do is move here. I play my thing, move here again. And then the first move next turn, take Woodland Realm. Because it's going to be what? 1, 2, 3, so 6, 8 against 3. I've got no leadership. And there's still, it means Erebor's very weak. But I can't leave Erebor completely behind, because then they can retake Erebor with this army. It's a bloody nightmare, basically. I play Orcs Multiplying again. They attack Woodland Realm. They draw into Red Arrow and Horn of Gondor. I draw into Balrog and Hill Trolls. Ready. Better roll for me. This is a bad roll for them. Kind of flip the tables. Now they get the bad roll, I get the good roll. I'm trying to do stuff here, game, says Waldo. They decide to go for Woodland Realm, as they should. No card, no quarter. Great, perfect for this situation. And they roll very hot. Really nice roll. Waste to no quarter, but, you know, that's a first world problem if ever there's been one. I get 1 back. Not ideal. And I say, Elves liberated, baby. I say, sigh. Here we go again. And they say, maybe I should have gone to Edoras. Gone to Edoras? With who? With what? I'm not sure. Anyway, so I, once again, go back into here. So now this is, what, a 7 army against a 4 and 8 army. Not looking good for the Shadow. Then they play Thranduils. I say, ugh! But they only go for the single. I guess they're being quite clever here. And they know that there's a chance that I can, at some point, do a big pivot to Rivendell. And they're going to need some extra forces to defend themselves. So I think getting 1 reg in there is a smart play. Then they nicely draw into bloody Dane, which isn't too bad, given, but it means they can get a leader and an elite into here if they want to. Or use I think it's a valet, yep. I use my hill trolls to make this army stronger, which I think I need to do. They get a leader in here and a reg in Helm's Deep. I get another Oliphant up here. Then I move up here and here, trying to get Pelargir to match this Lamedon army, and also make this army strong enough to defend itself from Erebor. So I'm still, again, concerned about this army attacking here, activating the Northern Force, especially if I attack here and it goes poorly. Then this army's strong. They can then take back and then if the North gets involved, I've lost the whole of the Jew line, and it even starts to make Dol Guldur a little bit vulnerable. So yeah, that's kind of, it's a little bit conservative, but again, I've got time on my hands. I need to move these Oliphants up as well. In an ideal world, you wait a bit longer, you get an extra Oliphant up here and here and here, and then you go 3 and 3. But I didn't really have time, and I wanted to get this going while he didn't have any attack dice. So get that in there, get that in there. So that's worked out really nicely. If they had lots of attacks this turn, it could have gone very differently. More mustering for the bloody Rohans. The Rohirrim draw a card, lid the side. Yeah. They get, yes, they're doing all the Rohan mustering. Very gradual, but it adds up. It really adds up. This is when, yeah, my paranoia after losing that game to, I think it was Lucky Ruds or Lucky Rudes. Very concerned about Path of the Woses. Should have checked. Big mental point for future games to check this thing. But I was thinking, if they played this to use Path of the Woses here, I could just be screwed. They could just march huge army. That army is probably big enough against this pitiful defense to potentially just take down. Because it's okay if you've got a buffer, but when the entire when the Free People army has the jump on you, and they're on 6 dice, it's possible for them to just do a wipe. It's really dangerous. But instead they play Red Arrow, and I play Shadow of the Misty Mountains to keep... I decided to use Regs because I know that I'm going to want these elites probably here, elsewhere, so I don't want to use the whole elite force pool. But it's good to get another Nazgul on the board, having lost one. They draw into Imrahil and Elven Rope. Oh, sorry. Yeah. And I draw King's Reveal, so that's really nice. And Nazgul Search. Good roll for me. Okay roll for the 3 people. They muster in Edoras. Edoras is now... The Rohan is a problem now. The Rohan is a big problem. Hence, I want to get some forces here. They pass. Also arse. Hanging on like baby teeth here. Yeah, this is one of those weird games where it's just so unlike the usual stuff. Such an odd game. I start moving this army across. I want to get them into Osgiliath because Osgiliath is the best defensive position to be in. For if this army comes across here, then it also gives me flexibility to defend Peligir if this army comes down. I also start marching these guys across because I might need reinforcements to help this whole situation. I've got a huge army up here. Again, wary of the mustering the north, so I had to leave some guys behind in Gundabad because the whole northern force pool is still humongous, and the breed can become an issue. So there's so many things to bloody think about in these games. They move the Fellowship, they miss. I play Cruel Weather to put them back one onto my Nazgul, keep them slowed down. Another elite in Edoras. Move this army into here, move this army into here. Look at the cards, by the way. Turn 12, and we're almost through the deck, for the Shadow at least. Fellowship moves again, they're hit, it's a 2. Gets down to Schmiegel, and he says, where is the little bastard? I think this was an opportunity to potentially use the reveal to take 1 viewer corruption, but maybe he's worried about me having a nasty card to hit him with. I don't know what cards I could have at that point, to be honest. Pretty much used them all. I start doing some kind of mustering here because I'm thinking about at some point I'm going to draw into Rage of the Dunlendings, so I could potentially do an attack on Rivendell. I've got this army here, so do a combine and Hollin, go into Rivendell potentially. They play Danes just to make my life more annoying. Move these guys and get these guys grouped up. I don't know, is that really what... I didn't really know what else to do. So that if you're going to play Dunlendings, you don't really need to do that. I wasn't sure when I was going to get Dunlendings. But I was thinking maybe I'll have some elites mustered here as well. So it'd be nice to have some XP and be able to move some regs up as well. Anyway. They decide to go back to Dol Amroth. I'm not sure why. Maybe they're worried about me sneaking backwards and or mustering here and doing a Corsairs or something. Not sure. Move Mouth of Sound to Dol Guldur. There's a forest. Okay, I'll move leadership around. Move this leader here. Move the mouth there. Move some leadership up here to try and take down, retake Woodland Realm. Turn 13, Horde from the East encounters of corpses, and Weeper of the Swift in the last battle. They get rid of Horn of Gondor. Then the Fellowship... This is hilarious. The Fellowship goes back. The Fellowship goes back to Lorien on turn 13. So they've declared in Lorien twice. They're so desperate that they're just thinking, let's just go back to Lorien, sit here. They did have a plan, which I'll go into later. It's an ingenious plan. And just unreal. So yeah, it's going to be a full-on insane grind. Military versus military. I say time to sprint, and they say probably not. I now played Dreadful Spells, expecting it to whiff on Woodland Realm. I actually get 2 hits. That's about as good as I've pretty much ever had. Maybe you occasionally get the 1 freak one in like 100 games, but that's probably about the second best Dreadful Spells I've ever had. So that's really, really handy, actually. Now I decide to try and take down Woodland Realm. Play Dread and Despair to try and keep the hits against me minimal. Forfeit 3, get 1 hit, that's okay. They hit no hits, so that's done its job. Draw into Grond. Sorry, yeah, I draw into Grond, Dread and Despair, which is always handy. I go for the second round. And what do I have? Okay, now I go for the Deadly Strife, try and finish them off, or at least do some serious damage. They counter it very well with the Daylight. And I do this. I get the full whiff, the full Deadly Strife whiff, which is always fun. Do a big 0 exclamation mark. They only get 2 back, which is lucky, because that could have been a big swing. And I go, worst strafe ever. I start moving guys around, and I think this is when, because they've got this insane number of attacks this turn, this is when they decide to do their big strike. And when you see this as the shadow, you're like, oh god, because this army's built up so gradually, and now it's humongous. And look how empty Mordor is. And I've played musterlings of a long-planned war already, and I've hardly got any mustering cards left. And that's a big mistake, actually. In a game like this, card like Mustering, Blessings of Long-Planned War goes from being like B, C tier cards, sometimes even a D tier card if, you know, well, it's got like a Desperate Battle, I think, so it's never going to be that bad. But it becomes like a really crucial card because the best, in terms of pure numbers, it's the best in the whole game. And I ain't got it. And I say, oh god, here we go. He goes forth, Yorlings. Yorlingers, fear no darkness. So I decide to, I don't want him getting the jump on me. So if he gets a Druiden, then it's kind of a free run up to wherever they want to go. So, because if I stay in Osgiliath, it's the best defensive position, but they can just circumvent me. Druiden is kind of a ticket to Estenmuir, Eastern, West Imminmuir, Dead Marshes, etc. So I want to get something between me and them. Not ideal, but at least it's an army. Okay, yeah, so I do that. And then I also do a double move to try and get some decent reinforcements as well. So I need a little bit of an army against these bastards. But I can at least get some Oliphants. That's 5 HP, which could be massive. They decide to go round. This is when I'm really, really worried about Through a Day and a Night. So here, I have a big think, decide to move the arm up here to block them. Give them a decision to make. If they go Dol Guldur, I'm going to chase them and fight them. If they go here, you know, I'm worried about scouts as well. They do have scouts, so I don't want to attack into them. I need them to attack me. So it becomes a chess game. They then go back to Druiden, and that's quite a smart play. No card, no card. They roll enough. I get nothing back. Then keep the little dance going on. Move back. I'm just covering myself. They then, what do? Move Aragorn over just to like rub salt in the wound. Very scary stuff. Gandhi comes over to Fangorn. I flip the mouth of Sauron. And I actually empty, this is a bit of a maverick play, I think. I empty Minas Tirith. Say, here, have Minas Tirith. Take it. It's fine by me. Just because I need to get, because in this situation, Osgiliath is a much better defensive fortification than Minas Tirith. Because in Minas Tirith, you either go into the siege and then your guys are just trapped and they're there to die. Or you fight them in a field battle on 5s. And they're going to get made mincemeat out of on 5s. At least in Osgiliath, I can get this army up to a 5 dice roll. And they have the defensive fortification. Really important. And it also means I do this, which is like potentially like a genius big brain move if they had Through a Day and a Night. They don't have Through a Day and a Night. But since Aragorn's gone there, I'm super worried about them going bloop bloop, and then they've got the jump on me. I'm in big shit. So I think I've had games where I thought, I think maybe they have Through a Day and a Night. Maybe I should move a single orc. I don't do it because I think, they'll probably be fine. Then they do that move, and then I'm screwed. And I'm like, why didn't you just, So I thought, let's just try and be clever. Should have checked the cards. But anyway, they say wild. I say probably overthinking it. But need to be cautious. They attack me in the marshes here. Huge army. So what's this? 6. So it's an 11 army against a 6 army. So they got almost double my numbers and an extra reroll. I play Words of Power to cancel Aragorn. They roll absolute rubbish. I roll absolute rubbish back at them. So terrible round of combat. I thought that was my chance. I can finally, get some cheap hits. Then they roll another terrible round of combat. Let's have a look at the dice. Not too crazy actually, but they are 5 down on hits, and I'm +3 on hits. Okay, so net that is quite bad actually. Yeah, pretty unlucky for Waldo. And then I do get a big hit. So that 4 is huge. Suddenly this is down to 7 versus a 6, and now they've lost a huge. If those 2 rounds, if they just wiped this army off the map and I'd done no hits back, could have been game. Could have been game. That's a bummer. Yeah, so that was really unlucky for the free people. I think what they've done is overall like really good play in the way they've kind of steadily built up their armies and made things difficult. I then get all my leadership down here. So now this army is like, it's gone, the game is swung massively. This from what previously was like a meager army. Now it's got good HP and good leadership. So at this point, I think the free people decide to just, throw the towel in terms of their big ambitions, their lofty ambitions, and just go for Minas Tirith. And I'm just like, oh, and breathe, because that's what I'm fine with that. I got time. I got the smallest pool in the world. Fellowship's doing nothing. And I'm gradually mincing away at their force pool, which is what I need to do. Fair play. They start moving stuff up here to potentially defend Rivendell. I draw a card, draw Rage of the Dunlendings. Go into turn 14. Challenge of the King, Weep of the Swifter. I draw Denethal's Folly and Aemir. Oh, sorry, they draw. Yeah, Denethal's Folly and Nazgul Strike. Nice varied rolls for both of us there. That's good. Yeah, coming across here, they must be worried about Dunlendings at this point, so it's good to get this guy into position to defend. What do I do? Start combining these armies. Move this guy who's done nothing. This little like big brain guy. It's like, I'm going to foil the plans of the free people if they have a card that no, they've already played it. And I say, not gonna lie, this shit's great for the channel. Yeah, because this game is just insane. They muster in Bree, as I thought they would at some point. I go for Minas Tirith. Need to take this bad boy down. I say again. I have recently drawn into Denethal's Folly, so that's good timing at least. It's a good chance to use that card. 3 people are almost out of character cards. Sorry, strategy cards. Wild. Play Denethal's Folly, kill the leader. They can't use combat cards. They move Strider Aragorn into Helm's Deep. I play Grond. I want to get this shit done. Empty. Play Deadly Strife. Mash them up, boys. Get 4 hits. They get 5. That's okay. Just not so worried about any attacks now. Just want to do damage, basically. Just go without a card here, because none of these cards... I don't want to play a Relentless Assault, and these are 2 useful cards for me in general, and the other ones aren't worth anything. So, no cards. They get 1, I get nothing. Round 3, get 2. They get 1 back. So, single guy hangs in there. They live. He then plays Challenge of the King. And let's look at the pool before we do it, actually. So the hunt pool, there's only 5 tiles in there. So guarantee of getting at least 1 eye. Gets 2 eyes. So the force pool, the hunt pool is now 3 tiles. Insane. Absolutely wild. Minas Tirith, I then need to finish it off. So get my hit. That's great. Still only on like 4 VPs. Waldo says, if Frodo dunks, I haven't decided what you have to do yet, but it's something. Yeah, if Frodo dunks here, like, Jesus Christ. I move armies from here to... again, I'm still worried about potentially some kind of Path of the Woes' play. Cards already been played. But I also want to get this army here to potentially go to Edoras. Get a cheap victory point there. What's the force pool? The Rohan force was only got a single guy left. Move leadership around. Now they do this again. I'm like, yeah. It's like that, GTA meme, like, oh, here goes again. So like, this game is like Groundhog Day. It's like retake this, retake this. This army goes here, threatens this. I must hit. It's like, oh, good God, here we go again. So once again, start the Oliphant factory, reoperational, get the Oliphants pumping out. Ugh, regenerating. Well, this is regenerating bastards. Get some mustering going in Helm's Deep. I say, beautiful regenerating bastards. And he says, going all Samwise on the Oliphant, say, oh, they're beautiful, Master Frodo. Beautiful creatures. He's not Irish. Don't know why I went Irish there. Then we draw into, okay, pretty much right at the real dregs of the deck now. New Powers Rising / Great Host and King Bran's Men and Bilbo Song. Bilbo Song good if if they get into Mordor somehow. I decide to not put an eye in. Don't roll an eye. So this could have been the Free People's chance, but they only rolled 2 movement, which is pretty huge. Yeah, no, not all moves. Given the dice at the moment, I am +9 on normal on like the good attacks, +4 on the bad attacks, and they're +8 on sea dice, -5 on normal musters, but +3 on hybrids. So weird dice overround. Combat's not crazy, pretty normal. Slightly favouring me, of course. I think it's like 5. I think it's -4 to 7. So yeah, +4 to +3. So yeah, definitely good for me on that side of things. Really get the Oliphants pumping out. Just need to do it. Need to do it. North Elite. North. So they keep pumping out the moment. Bree. 4 Oliphants here. Go for Pelargir. Oh, God. They kill Pelargir without a scratch. I move the Oliphants and move some guys here to Osgiliath to make it a sizable army there. They attack Osgiliath. They shield wall. They get 2 hits, which is pretty great. I get only 1 back. So I'm like, oh my God, another bloody military assault. Like, will it ever end? Leave me, Waldo, give me a break. Really good play by Waldo, though. Like, I can't fault it. I decide again I need to get the jump on them. Leaves Umbar vulnerable, but I can't risk this army getting into Mordor and potentially taking down multiple strongholds. So I decide to go for South Thilian. And Waldo goes, such a vanilla game bases, yeah. It's so boring based. I don't get any hits. They get 1, which sucks. I press. They pop into here. I leave 1 behind just to make it so they have to at least attack into Western Rondor. They say tough, well played. Thank you, Waldo. They pass. Not sure if that's the right play. Maybe you try and get, because attacking this army now it still sucks, but at least you can get a go at it. Now I can get leadership into it. So, and I leave 1 here in case I have to muster an Umbar. They pass. I start mustering in Minas Morgul. So now I'm starting to get my defense going. Get another red tile in. Wasn't sure what to do. Used a ring to get another muster into Minas Morgul just to kill any threat of this. They move the Fellowship again. Get a free move. I go for Wooden Realm. Just try and kill this stupid thing. Play Black Breath. Get 2 hits. 1's on the leadership, so I get to kill a leader, which is nice. They get 1 back. Press draw. Draw into Wormtongue. Decide to play another. Oh, and I don't play any cards. Sorry. I thought I played another Foul Stench. I don't. They get 1 back. I decide to keep pressing. That time. Get 2 hits. Great. They get 1 hit back. I go for the final press. No card, and I kill those dwarven swines. So, retaken. I've taken Wooden Realm, lost Wooden Realm, retaken Wooden Realm, taken Minas Tirith, lost Minas Tirith, retaken Minas Tirith. They move again, another free movement using a ring. I do some more mini mustering in case I get no muster dice next turn. We're going to turn 16. They get Dead Men. If they did decide to play Dead Men, they don't have any guys, so it would just be kicking an army out of Pelargir. That's what it would be. They kill Swords and Eriador. I don't have, I've got 1 card left in the deck. They have 8 characters. I roll another super eye heavy turn. And they get a very heavy attack turn. They decide to go for North Thilian. I no card it. They get the hit. I don't. I'm like, oh, no. Again, I'm still thinking about bloody Path of the Woses, hence I cover this. Because imagine if this army suddenly blasted in here, then I would be in so much trouble. Because even if I came and took a cheap HD, still not going to be able to get up to 10 before they could potentially, charge down to Umbar and use this to take Morannon. Split this army here to have one that can cover half the army cover Morannon. Move the Minas Tirith guys to Osgiliath to give me a bit of a buffer there. They move the Fellowship. They are hit. It's a 2 reveal. They're revealed, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into this army. It's just, hey Hobbits, hey, what's up? And I say, man, if you dunk, that's some goat level stuff. This fat chance. I play Rage to get this army buffed up. They flip the Fellowship. I decide to go for the Shire. Now I'm thinking, how am I going to get over the line here? My best chance, I think, don't want to go for Rivendell. Too much pain. They've got another, you can muster another guy elite in there. I'll go for the Shire. I'll go for Edoras. And I'll go for Dol Amroth, because Dol Amroth has now been, they can't muster anymore. So it should be easy to take that down. I have a great host. Saving that up in my pocket to take down Dol Amroth. They use the ring to get into Mordor. 2 hits. This is crucial. They purposefully reveal themselves using Mordor, Gollum's ability, so they can draw the final tile, which means they get to put all of the fucking tiles back into the bag. And I was like, no threat in Mordor whatsoever. I've got like 3, 4 red tiles in there. It's the smallest pool any human being has ever seen in the history of War of the Ring. It's just, well, not literally, but no chance. They're going to draw at least 2 red tiles, just by the law of averages. Like, I don't think it's even possible. You'd probably have, unless they even if they get like all the blues in there, they're surely going to get at least 1 or 2 red tiles. But no, Waldo's been playing the big brain long play, hiding up here, waiting till I get a perfect turn, doing a mega march, and purposefully trying to use all of. That's why he played Challenge the King. It's safe in the knowledge that he could get a full bag, redraw. And he says, the bag is remade, and I say, amazing. And I'm like, oh no! And suddenly, the chance of the Fellowship getting over the line has gone from like 1% to like not great, probably like 15%. But it's a genuine possibility. If they get a couple of crazy runs and they just get 1s and 0s and 0s and 1s because they got Gollum, it's not going to hurt them. They can win. And so that reveal was just absolutely genius. So the combination, so it was actually great for them that I rolled so many eyes this turn because they wanted to get hit. They needed to get hit to get the tiles. Unbelievable stuff. Unbelievable. Not an often used rule. So we have a big chat about this and how insane it is. I play Ring Racer Abroad to get an army up here because I'm thinking I want to take down Erebor as well. Yeah, I think that's my other victory point. I need to take down another stronghold. Likely, anyway. Because cleverly, now that he's wasted all my time, got the Hobbits in here, he can now take back Minas Tirith with this army and make it so I'm even further away from winning military victory. They use a sudden strike. Gets 3 hits. I get 2 back. Not great. So yeah, this game has taken a big twist. Big twist at the tail. Turn 17. Hobbits are in Mordor. They get There's Not a Way. Lots of nice tiles now. And there are 8 tiles. But basically, so was it 1, 2. Hardly anything reveals. And there's so many nice tiles in there. 1 does 0, that does 0, that potentially does 0. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 tiles that basically do 0 damage if you reveal the using Gollum's power. 3 eyes in the pool. It's loads of movement. No! They put Minas Tirith under siege. Don't know why Dead Men have done Harrow. Still there. Okay, I'm gonna screw up the replay, so we'll just leave it. They put the Fellowship. I go for the Shire. Start mustering Umbar. I go for Shire, no card. I wanted to make sure I got in here before he moved that army across, because if that, I mean, I still should take it, but that army could be a genuine issue. Get my hit, nice, up to 6. He musters in Grey Havens, understandably. I go for Erebor, put it under siege. They throw in another blue tile, so now it's 8 tiles that are great for them. I attack Erebor using the power. Play Nazgul, plays Foul Stench to stop their leadership. Roll 2 6s, which is good. They get 1 back. I decide to press, because now time is suddenly an issue. I play another Foul Stench, cancel the leadership again, which is actually quite effective against 2. Get another hit, solid. I decide to stop at this point, because I really kind of need to take this down, and I could use an extra guy. They move, and they draw a red tile. So that is really quite important. Yeah. I guess, and is there an argument this turn, rather than doing the attack here, you just use all the dice to just try and make a mad run with the Fellowship? Because I think they only actually moved it to use 2 dice to move them here this turn. I think they could have used a lot more. But equally, you do need to defend as well. So that's really unlucky after such a valiant fight. But hey, I put at least all that investment in the red tiles got me something. Attack Erebor using a ring. They play Sudden Strike. They get 1 hit. Still got 5 versus 3. And I rolled 3 6s. Huge. Absolutely huge. Big few. Very, very big. I tried to draw cards. I can't. I have no cards. Waldo does the same. And then I roll an absolute metric ton of character dice. And they roll a ton of movement. But the red tile has significantly slowed them down. I muster in Umbar and move the Witch King over to Orthanc and just do a bunch of stuff. Can't remember what I was thinking exactly. They do Weeper the Swifter to get Aragorn into Minas Tirith to help take that down. But this crucially gives me opportunity to, I think they probably should have attacked Druiden Forest to kill it, because this is really important. This gives me the jump, and it means I can move this guy here and get a cheap Edoras. And by this point, they've mustered the final reg, so there's nothing left to as like an emergency muster. I start these guys marching. They play There's Another Way. Draw 2, up to 8. They hide to spare, because I mean, again, corruption is still very high. I keep marching, get up to 10 VPs, but they're going to retake Minas Tirith. They attack Minas Tirith. No card, no card. They take it back. Get 1 hit. I march to Lamadon. And he says, man, if you have a great host left, I'll be so sad. He did have a great host. Sorry, Waldo. Holding that one for a long time. Attack Dol Amroth. They pass. Attack Dol Amroth. He says, oh. Waldo knows, even before I've shown the card. Just knows. Just knows. I'm guessing Waldo was really checking the discarded cards at this point. Great host. I wouldn't have sent an army this small. Otherwise, I would have at least used this mustard to get 1 more Oliphant in Umbar anyway. So I might have done it regardless. But they say, yeah. They roll the 6, of course. And I'm up to 10 again. And that's GG. That's the game. 1 hour, 23 minutes. That is the game. Incredible game. I think Waldo played it so well. We did both make mistakes, admittedly. I screwed up here, big time. I think it wasn't, looking back, it wasn't as crucial. The fact that I was making moves to worry about Path of the Woses and Through Day and Night, but it's certainly wasted. I probably wasted in total about 5 half movements, which in a game of War of the Ring is pretty big. So that was really silly of me. Need to learn from that. But yeah, into this, if there's ever a kind of a game that demonstrates the power of resilience for the free people and, like, you know, not giving up in the face of adversity. Okay, they still got ruined in Mordor by a red tile, but like, there was a legit chance that Waldo could have won that turn. Those last two turns. He says one of the most epic games I've ever played. Because yeah, I mean, incredibly smart play by them using the resources they had. The challenge of the king to kill 2 eyes, which means there aren't enough tiles left in the pool, so they can. Because um, yeah, waiting to use the challenge of the king, using it at that point, hitting the 2 eyes, only 3 tiles left, hitting on the 3 tiles and getting a fully remade pool. Just remarkable stuff. Absolutely remarkable. The repeated attempted attacks from here, retaking Woodland Realm, just like really waiting for their time to strike, retaking Woodland Realm when they had the shot, wasting my time through that, retaking Peligir when they had the shot, when I'd spread my armies a bit too thin, slowly building up in Rohan, and then striking when they had the opportunity. But yeah, I do think, again, if there's any newer players watching, this is also a demonstration of, like, I mean, not that I play this perfectly by any means, but why you have to be cautious as Shadow in games like this, because I might have left Mordor a bit too thin. I definitely should have kept Mustlings for a long plan war, but I was pretty careful. I kept these covered, kept this covered. Was pretty relatively cautious with my, the mustering in Mordor. Mustered more than you would in a normal game in a defensive capacity. I probably should have been a little bit more cautious because got way too close for my liking in Mordor. Mustardings being the big mistake, and also my usage of Many Kings to the Service of Mordor, whatever it's called, the one that gets the 6 South runs. Because again, that in a game like this, those two mustering cards would have been really big for me. So yeah, lots of little misplays. But some good play, I think, from both of us at various points in the game. Like Waldo did some good stuff. I think I did some good defensive plays at times. But yeah, also got lucky on a number of factors. But yeah, just a great game. Great game of War of the Ring. I love this game. War of the Ring is so good that you can just have. I've never had a game quite like that before, and it happens so often. You have your stupid Strider sprints that are just a joke. It's like a coin toss. But when you can have a game like this, makes it all the more worth it. And that's why we keep playing it, I guess. But anyway, thanks for watching. This has been my longest video ever, I think. Ciao, ciao. Bye-bye.